Hello, welcome to Halftime Adjustments. Today I'm going to be having a conversation with my friend Kyle Peace. For those of you that don't know Kyle, he's going to share a little about what he does with his business, Peace of Mind Financial. So Kyle, would you like to tell us a little about Peace of Mind Financial?
Well, it's Peace of Mind Financial Strategies. There's another word in there. It gets a little long on the website. But it started about 3 years ago when I started my own firm. This was after working corporately for 20 plus years. I actually came away from the corporate environment to go out on my own and started Peace of Mind. My last name is Peace, so it's a nice play with the name of the business and my name. It kind of helps you remember me and who I am. But that's really how I got started, was just me coming to the place of, okay, it's time for me to start my own thing.
All right. So before you did launch your own, what was your career looking like when you were working under someone else?
Well, as a corporate employee, I spent over 26 years working corporately, and I started out, my first job out of college, I was with a non-standard auto insurance carrier. And my job was to go around to independent insurance agents and contract with them to sell our products. So I sold the products to them, they sold the products to the general public. That's how I got started in the insurance business. And then over time, just through different jobs and sort of climbing a corporate ladder, wound up with Nationwide Financial, where I spent over 16 years there.
Wow.
And that's who got me into the financial planning stages of my career as far as helping others plan for their retirement.
All right. So looking back now, what were some of the signs that led you to do something bigger, to go out on your own like you did?
Yeah, working corporately, and a lot of people do that, know that if you want to continue to advance corporately, you've got to be prepared, particularly in sales. You have to be particularly ready to take on new responsibilities, promotions, and a lot of times that comes with relocations. Tamara, my wife, and I, years ago, decided that we would not move our children around, that we wanted to stay nestled and keep them sort of solid. Well, you can only dodge those promotion bullets so many times. So as my career continued to go, it was apparent that because I had turned down promotions and relocations, that I'm not going to say that they were going to make life tough for me, but just the job itself was going to inherently get harder and harder, and the revenue was going to get shorter and shorter. So I could kind of see the writing on the wall that at some point, as I got older, they were going to look to I'm going to say push me out. It happens when you're around 65. Corporations are looking for you to retire, or they're going to find a way to kind of ease you out. So I decided, well, before they do it to me, I'm going to do it to them. So I decided to go out on my own.
So that was kind of the defining moment of when you made that decision.
Yeah, pretty much. It's several things that kept falling into place, and it just looked to me like, okay, for me and my family, the best way to handle this would be to go ahead and start my own firm.
So now that you've done that, would you say that it's been more difficult than you expected or less difficult?
It's the expectation. I knew it would be difficult. I think some of the things that amaze me is when you're doing financial planning for people, what they don't realize is there's a plan. It may not be their plan, but there is a plan.
Yeah.
And many times we don't realize what the plan is until it's too late to do anything about it. So what I try to do is take my clients and say, okay, when you're doing your financial planning, here's some things you want to put in place so that when you reach this point in life, there is no looking back saying, oh, I wish I had done that. Because if you get to that point and you've got regrets, you're too old to do anything about it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the path that I took and what I do with my clients. And so that's the way I roll.
Yeah. And let me disclose at this moment, I'm one of Kyle's clients. And what he just said, it was funny because I'm thinking, yeah, that's exactly what you said to me when we were sitting down looking at things. And Kyle's educated me a lot on finances, and that's why I wanted to bring him on today and to share with everyone. What do you think's been most rewarding to you in being your own?
When people realize that, nobody plans to fail, they fail to plan. Right? We've heard that before. the gratification that I get from someone who sits down and says, I understand it. A lot of times when I'm dealing with my clients, when we're talking about contracts and things like that, I always have them rehearse back to me, why are you buying this? What is it and why are you buying it? Because I want to make sure they understand this is what this is going to do for me in time. And that's what I find rewarding is, unlike some people, some of the complications are, the no-brainers, people who don't take advantage of the no-brainers. That's very difficult for me to understand why somebody would do that. However, that's the way society is, right? You can't be all things to all people. But when you've got that customer who realizes that I have exposed to them some things they need to look out for and they get it, the gratification is why I do what I do.
So my next question was going to be, compared to 10 years ago, how has that changed? I mean, you just defined what it is now.
Yeah. 10 years ago, when I was with Nationwide Financial at the time, my customers were Nationwide agents. So I worked with their customers. I didn't have to go find customers.
Yeah.
Now I have to find them. And, 10 years ago, I had a corporate mindset, which was, okay, hit your numbers, make your money, live the life you want to live. Unfortunately, in corporate America, and a lot of you may know this, you hit your numbers this year, those numbers go up next year, but it doesn't necessarily mean the income's going to go up with it. They find a way to try to get more out of you, and it costs them less. So dealing with that, coming away from Nationwide, and now to me, success is looking at the whole body. It's not just making money. It's not just your career. That's a part of it.
Yeah.
But I look at the whole body. What kind of legacy are you leaving behind for your children? And not just a financial legacy, but what impact have you had on those around you? Yeah. I don't know that, I've often said many times that my goal in life is that some grandchild of mine, years down the road, will have a picture of me above the mantle.
Yeah.
And when they have friends over, their friends are going to ask, who's that guy there? And they're going to say, I don't know who he is, but he's the reason why I have what I have and why I do the things that I do.
Wow.
That's the type of legacy that I want to leave. And that's what I consider to be successful, is in your social life, in your family life, in your work life, in your recreational life. If you do recreational sports, what the people around you, what are they thinking about you? What would they say about you if you were no longer here? Would you be missed?
Yeah, that's big. So being men of faith, can you share with us how your faith has influenced your decisions, throughout your career?
Yeah, going back to the opportunities to relocate and take promotions, the money would have been good. I mean, one of my opportunities was to Dallas, Texas, which probably wouldn't have been a bad move, but another one was Detroit, Michigan. So glad I didn't take that one. Nothing against Detroit, but I don't think I would survive very well in Detroit.
Yeah.
But, Tamara and I, my wife, we prayed about those decisions every time they come up. And I pray daily about my business and where it's going and what I can do to serve others. But prayer, anytime you've got a business decision to make, you always have, you get information on the two choices that you have. And then, I bathe that in prayer, and the Bible tells us to go and seek wise counsel from those who have been where you are now. And that's probably some of the best advice I was ever given, was someone who pointed me to scripture that said that. So going out and not just one or two people, find 5 or 6 people who have been in the same spot and have them advise you on what they would do. And that coupled with a prayer, ask God to send you the people you need to talk to, just so you can make a wise decision.
And I know this sounds like a dumb question, but if I ask you, how do you maintain peace? And it's not a play on your name, but how do you maintain peace in those uncertain seasons? Because anytime someone goes out on their own in business, there is uncertainty. So share, what's given you peace during that time?
Well, I think the key word you mentioned is season. The Bible tells us we're going to go through varying seasons of life. The older I get and the more I lean on the Lord, the more I realize that everything we have that we're doing is all temporary. If you're going through a rough season, it's temporary. If you're going through a good season, it's temporary, right? Yeah. I mean, if we don't have the bad seasons, we don't have the opportunity to grow. So I maintain just a focus on that, is that God's got a plan. Several places in the Bible, he tells us he's going to take care of us. We're not promised smooth sailing, but we are promised a safe landing. And I lean on that. And my children are now, they're grown, not really out of the house, but they're starting to spread their wings and start their own life. So I've made it through what I think financially speaking. I say financially speaking, the hard times.
Yeah.
Really, they're just now hitting me because I got one going to optometry schools. So the financials grind is still there.
Yeah.
But I do have, I have a piece now that, working corporately, age 65 was that magical age that they were going to kick you out if you didn't move out. I'm in a place now where as long as I have my mental capabilities, I can do this. I'm 80, 85 years old.
Yeah.
So that takes the pressure off of, oh, well, you got to get it all done by age 65.
Deadline.
Yeah, I don't have a deadline anymore. So that's where I feel peace in knowing that God has put me in a place that I enjoy. If you enjoy what you do, it's not work, right?
Yeah.
I enjoy what I do. So I can keep pedaling this bicycle on down as long the runway as God would have me be on. And I don't have to worry about making sure I'm hitting deadlines.
Yeah. So getting back to some financial wisdom here, what do you see most typical people like myself, mistakes that we're making financially right now?
My generation, when I came out of college, got the first corporate job, we were told by HR, maximize your 401k and you've got nothing to worry about. And that was true 30 plus years ago, but a lot has changed since then. And HR has not updated their spiel to all those employees. I think that people 45% of retirees run out of money. Now, let's be transparent.
Almost half.
Yeah, that's their savings. Now, if they've got Social Security, that's still going to come in. It's guaranteed until they pass away. But Social Security was not meant to be your sole retirement income. So it's probably not giving you the life that you want to have. Most people say, well, I want to live the same in retirement as I had when I was working. Think about that. When you were working, you were building wealth for retirement. When you go into retirement, you plus a lot of other things are draining that account. And if you've not prepared to hedge against some of those things that could take that money away, that's how people run out of money. So that's why planning is important. Like I said, there's a plan.
Yeah.
Is it your plan or not? And most people would want to use their plan. So sitting down with an advisor, an all-inclusive advisor, one who not only talks about building wealth, but does the risk management side as well. There's a lot of risk out there when you're in retirement. Like I said, when you run into some of these, you may be too old to go back to work to offset those risks. So that's what I would say to people as far as financial planning goes.
So what's one piece of financial advice that you would you wish everybody just understood? It's something that maybe seems very elementary and basic to you, whereas someone like myself may be living life and we just don't think of it.
Yeah. Define diversification and not by what the financial industry says diversification is, but what is diversified? Are you, yes, you need monies that are growing. You're going to need that. You need to outrun inflation. But diversification is not just having 3 different mutual fund accounts, because all those accounts are still in mutual funds. That's not diversification. Mutual funds, although they're diversified, that's not total diversification. You need accounts that hedge against each other. So when one's up, one may be down, one's down, one's up. And that's how you continue your financial well-being on into retirement when you stop adding to the wealth pile.
So just kind of one of the last questions is, how important is having that long-term financial plan?
Well, I know this doesn't apply to everybody, but at least the way I see things is I don't want to be a burden on my children. Whether that's my health, my financials, whatever it is, I don't want to be a burden on them. So the plan is to make sure of that, I've got to have a sound plan. And it starts as early as, as you can think about it, really. Yeah. I sell life insurance on children. And people ask me all the time, well, why would I do that? I don't want to get rich on my child's death. No. You're missing the point. There's equity in those policies that your children can use down the road. And, there's just strategies you put in place that make sure that, you don't become a burden on your children. And I want to be that grandpa that sits in his recliner and the grandchildren come over at Thanksgiving and they spend a couple hours and then they go home. But I want to be a nice picture of grandpa for them.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the one sick in bed that can't get out of bed and they have to come over to help take care of me.
Yeah.
That's not what I want to be. And most people are that way. They don't want to. The younger generation may be a little different, but my generation and those before me and right after me kind of feel the same way.
I feel the same way.
They want to be
I
self-sustained.
absolutely do.
Yeah.
So at halftime adjustments, one of the things that we encourage people is when you reach a point in life, because we all of us at our age kind of grew up in a time when, we were on a track to get a degree of some type and have a career and retire in that career, whether it be 65 or some other age when they push you out. And we have this mindset that, the retirement they're holding for me is going to be great. And, the longer I've lived, the more I've realized and watched other people try to do that. And that's not reality. So if there's someone that's watching, Kyle, that maybe has been in the corporate world for a long time and you're comfortable, and it's like I tell people, we all can find ourselves being addicted to a check. When I left teaching, for 22 years, I never worried about health insurance. I knew they were pulling out money for retirement. I knew how much money I was going to make every single month. I knew exactly what was coming in. And there's a comfort level comes with that, even though it may be a poverty level comfort at sometimes, but it's a comfort to know what's coming in. So, if there's someone watching this and, they're in that point in life where they're debating, should I make a change? Should I take this risk? Having done it yourself, what would you tell them?
If you're feeling that way, what is the cause?
Mm-hmm.
What's causing you to possibly want to make a change? If you make a change, how can you use that change to serve others?
Mm-hmm.
What does that change look like? Because, you mentioned being kind of married to a paycheck and the steady income that comes with that. What I have found is, there's a stress level, either way you go, whether you work for someone or you do it yourself. The stress level of working for someone is, you get the constant paycheck, but you also get the stress of someone's telling you, here's what your production level is going to be. And there used to be a day where if you didn't hit those numbers, you just missed out on income. Your job was, as long as it wasn't bad, your job's still secure. These days, okay, if you hit the numbers, there's income that comes with it. But if you don't hit the numbers, your job's in jeopardy. Well, and a lot of times someone who is setting those numbers for you never did the job.
Yeah.
That happens. Yeah. Not everywhere. Some people don't do that, but
most everywhere.
Most everywhere that happens.
Yeah.
And that's an uncomfortable feeling. So that brings a level of stress. Well, if you make the change and you go unemployed, then the stress level is basically, all right, how do I pay my bills?
Yeah.
You got to pay the bills, right? And you'll find that it doesn't, you don't have to go on vacation every year. You don't have to eat at the finest restaurants every Friday night. You'll find ways to make it do until you get your income flow up to a point where you can go back, and you're going to find that being on your own, you got to put in that 3 to 5 years of torment financially.
Yeah.
Once you get past that, you're going to find that you're doing better financially than what you were working for somebody. And the stress level's a lot less. You got more time to spend with your children and your family. And not only is your income not dictated, but neither is your time.
Now, Kyle brought up a good point there when he said those 4 or 5 years of torment, because when you start a business, most people know that you don't take a check right away. You work for sometimes a few years before you really start seeing a big return. And a lot of people think that's insane. They think, well, why would I want to work for free for 5 years? And it may not take that long. It depends on what you go into, and there's a lot of, different, I don't want to say obstacles, but moving parts in every business. But even though people think that's insane to work real hard for 5 years so you can establish a business, and have financial freedom and time freedom. Time is infinitely worth more than money is. I mean, it's time, and the older you get, the more you'll understand that. But it's like, but they feel like working 30 to 40 years on a job and then retiring when you're worn down and not good enough health to travel and do the things that you always thought you would do when you retired. Well, they think that is normal, and that makes sense, where building a company of some type is just too much work to do that for 4 or 5 years. So, hopefully you take time to look at what you want to do, like what inspires you. I mean, if you're going to have to do something day in and day out, when I was teaching and coaching, I loved doing that. And, there just comes a time when sometimes it's time to change. So I want to end with this. Kyle, if you would share with us, if someone was looking to plan for the future, how would they get in contact with you?
You can reach me. My website is peaceofmindfinancialstrategies.com. My phone number is 770-598-8063. You can email, text. My email address is Kyle@peace, and that's PEACEOMFS.com. I answer the email, the text, the phone calls. Just reach out to me. Consultation is free. I'm not fee-based. So if you just have some ideas, or you started planning, you haven't started, you have been planning and not sure you're doing the right thing, and you just want another set of eyes on it, feel free to reach out. I'll be more than happy to sit down and talk about it.
And as a client of Kyle's, I will tell you, zero pressure. He is not a salesman. He's not trying to push something. He's not trying to convince you that you need something. He's giving you your options. He allows you to think through it. You can ask questions. He's a great educator in this area because he's been in it for many years. So I hope that you take advantage of his services. And if we can ever do anything to help you get started in your new venture in life, reach out to us at Halftime Adjustments. So thank you, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you.